Oh, I'm just closing the door in the background. No, no whining. Morning, you guys. Good morning, you guys. Want to make sure it's important that everybody's on camera just because I want to know that you're dialed into it and paying attention. Um, and so I just, I just want to make sure you're into it. We're going to do a couple activities, or we're going to do one today where you're going to need to stand up. And if you want to do the activity off of camera, that's fine too. Like if you want to set your phone down or your iPad down when we do that, that's fine. I don't expect you to be on camera to do something if you're not comfortable with doing it. But I just want to make sure that you're paying attention. Can I get a thumbs up if you can all hear me? Fantastic. All right. You guys all see my screen? Yep. Okay. If you ever have any questions or comments, we will use the chat. So if you guys have access to the chat, just make sure you can see it because that's a good place to ask questions that I can answer later, maybe in private. Today is kind of an intro. We did do some of this stuff as a group during the first week of mini camps. I know we have some others that signed up today that weren't on the initial session, and that's great. Again, just a reminder, this is something I'm doing for you guys for free. I'm hoping at some point to make this another part of my career path. And so good for you for taking advantage. If you can miss one session, it's a series of 6 sessions, maybe one more with the option of some breakouts if you want to do that individually from like just short ones. I might ask you to do some of those, but you can only miss one because they're going to go in order. And so if you miss multiple, it won't really work. I'm not going to play catch up. So just try to make sure you're there, and I will get feedback from you, but ideally Sunday nights are the best time to do it. I know a bunch of the young girls, you guys are going to camp this week, so Sunday nights would be good. If that doesn't work for someone and something comes up, then we can always adapt for the best of everyone. And again, I will record it so that if you do miss it, or you want to go back and watch it because you missed something or didn't understand something, or you want to try it again, we can do that. And I'm going to try to keep it on schedule so I'm not booking up your time and keeping you here and making you feel like it's a task. All right. But the best part is that you're here and you've taken the leap to try to do some work on yourself because that's what it's all about. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you. And it's something that you're going to get whatever you put into it. And if you don't buy into it and be open, then, you probably won't get much out of it, to be honest. But if you are open to it and you practice some of the stuff that we do, I promise you'll get something out of it. And that's going to look different for everybody. Okay. So really it comes down to what do you want to get out of the program? Like, what do you want to get out of this? You got to ask yourself, why am I here? What do I want to do? And do I want to follow through and get something out of it? And then how are you going to get it, right? This is going to take some work. It's going to take some commitment from you. For me, like, I've gone through this program. I had to go through the program myself to be able to teach it. And in order to get something out of it, you really got to be open and vulnerable with yourself. You don't have to do that with me unless we're meeting one-on-one. Then you could be honest with me, and I'm going to ask you to share some things with me over text so that I can better help you. And you could get as personal and as open as you want in that, but the only way you're going to get it is if you're asking yourself, how much time and effort am I willing to put into it? Okay. So you need to tell yourself, and again, a big part of this is belief work, and it's about you telling yourself that you're going to get what I came for, right? So you're here, you're committed, you're out of bed, you're on Zoom, and you've made the time to get here. So let's get it, right? Let's get it. Let's get what we're here for. Okay. This is a 6-step plan that I'm going to teach you. And the first thing we're going to talk about is how the brain works. And if you are in my first session we did with the team, you're going to get some repeat information. So just bear with me on that. Our second meeting, we're going to talk about using some more visualization, some training for our mind. And then I'm going to teach you about what's called the tear process. And this is really about you managing your thoughts and how you go about sort of thinking about not your goals, but how you want to get to where you're going to get and the obstacles that get in the way of doing that. Okay. And then I'm going to teach you a breathing technique, sort of like a visualization that you can do before practice, before games, before tests, things like that. If you've been to we did kind of do some smaller versions of that at practice before we warmed up. So that's kind of what it looks like. And that's kind of what it looks like. But I'm going to dig in deeper. And what's great about for you guys is I'm actually going to send you some visualizations via text or via email that you can put into your phone. So if you have Apple Music or Spotify, these will be personalized. There'll be a couple general ones that you'll all get. And then I'm going to create some personal ones just for you that you can put into your phone that you can use on your own. So they can guide you, put your headphones in on the drive to a game, a practice, at school before practice starts, things like that. Yeah, it'll be my voice, and I'll probably try to send you some others too, so you can hear different voices and give you some different sort of options when you're going about it. I'm going to teach you about pre-competition stuff and getting you into your right vibe, like your hype level. We're going to call it your hype level, and having you trying to get you to understand how do you get to where you need to be to play your best. We've all had those situations where you just weren't ready to play at game time and it impacted the outcome of the performance. And we're going to be mindful of what that looks like. And those of you in the room that are returning varsity players, you know what that looks like. The locker room before games, everybody's doing something different and trying to get ready. And I want us to be much more mindful as athletes, whether it's for basketball or other sports, and how you're getting yourself ready to maximize your performance and be ready to go on game nights, because you only get so many, right? And so let's be ready to go on those days. And then our step 5 is going to be about our mistake rituals and how we snap back into the moment and get through mistakes. And this is really good for not just in competition, but life in general, traffic jams, right? Long lines at the store, right? Annoying classes, right? Screwing up on a test. The mistake ritual can be used in all those situations. And in an ideal situation, I'll be able to see you do your snapback ritual in games and in practice when things start to go sideways, right? The varsity played this weekend and we all had mistakes, including myself. And so it's a good opportunity. You never are going to run into situations in competition. You're never going to run into situations of competition where you're going to be perfect. I mean, we're all seeking the perfect game, and I've been coaching for 25 years and I've yet to find that perfect game. Never played it. Okay. So, and then finally, it's your post competition, right? It's your next level, how to analyze your performance. What did it look like? How do I get the most out of what has already been done so that I can prepare and be better in the next game? And so I've given you some prompts if you've played with me already this summer, but we're going to dig into how to make this work better for you. So we're going to get into details on making it work. Okay. I do want to talk about a little bit about myself real quick and like how my shortfalls as an athlete when I was your age had a lot to do with mentality. I had tragedy happen in my. I came out of 8th grade. I was voted the best athlete in my school, and I had a really good freshman year. And then I had some tragedy happen in my life, and I lost my brother. My parents got divorced. My dad was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I let all of that. Kind of normally. I mean, it's normal, but I let it dictate how I went about doing the things that I really care about and I love, and which was baseball and basketball and football. And I let it impact my experience there. And I really do wish I had someone that was there for me to be able to help me or give me tools to be able to find the joy in playing, even with all of the noise that's going on around me. And that's really what hit me the most about going through this program is building confidence and finding tools that work for yourself, that can help you just block out the noise and enjoy the things that you love, because you guys signed up to play in this program. You play other sports because ultimately it's something that you love to do. It's not a job. You're not being forced to be there. Hopefully it's something that you just love to do. And we're going to tap into those things and for you and where that initial joy came from. And you're going to try to tap into that on a regular basis, right? Because if you're not having fun working towards this, then you probably shouldn't be playing, right? You should find something else where you're happy. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little visualization with you, because ultimately visualization is a big part of this. It's about seeing yourself being successful, and getting out of your own way and tapping into the power of your brain. Your brain, it does, we'll talk a little bit more about what it does to you, but it tries to keep you safe ultimately and keep you comfortable. And even if you know that your goals are bigger, your brain naturally tells you to slow down and be safe, right? So part of this process in reaching your goals is going to be working through some of the obstacles in your way, and that's using the power of your mind to actually see yourself get to another place. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is I want you to stand up. If you want to put your camera down, you can just listen. You're going to stand up, or you can, yeah, I want you to stand up, because you have to be standing up because you're going to have a marker. I just need you to stand up wherever you are. Okay, you can see me, or you can just listen to me. I don't care either way. I don't mind if you can't see me or I can't see you. All right, because we're not going to be watching ourselves, right? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to put your finger out, your hand out in front of you like this, and I want you to just stand and look at your thumb like this, full extension of your arm, just like me, all the way out in front. And I want you to just look at your thumb, look at the nail, the wrinkles on your thumb. Some of us got jacked fingers, just kind of take in all of what's going on, the nail bed, any kind of markings on your thumb, right? And just take a look at it. And then I want you to keep your feet planted. And I just want you to open your body all the way out as far as you can go. I just want you to twist as far as you can go, as far as you can go to your side. On whatever arm you're using, go that way. So if you're right-handed, turn to your right. And I want you to just extend out and twist as far as you can go. Okay, just as far as you can go. And then find a marker on the wall where you are and just take a mental note of that. Okay, so just go where you are. Now come on back to your regular spot. Okay, no, stand up, stay standing up. Okay, and this time we're going to visualize it. And I want you to you can keep your hands at your side. All right. You can keep your hands at your side and you're just going to visualize exactly what we just did. So you're going to close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths. And I want you to visualize your fingers, your thumb out in front of you, right? Your thumb's up there. You're going to see that wrinkles in your thumb, the marks on your nail bed. Maybe your nails are cut, you have them painted or whatever, but you're going to see that thumb that was just out in front of you. And in your mind, you're going to imagine, okay, you're going to imagine yourself turning and doing the same thing we just did and squeezing out to your side. If it was to your right, to your right. If it was to your left, to your left. And you're going to see yourself going past that marker on the wall. Really visualize your thumb going past that point that you noticed on the wall when you turned. And you're just going to go past it. And you're going to take a mental note of where that might be. Okay, take another big deep breath and come back to that spot. Okay, go ahead when you're ready. You're going to open your eyes. All right. Now you're going to go ahead and put your hand back up again. We're going to go ahead and test to see if this is working for you. All right. And so you want your thumb right out in front of you, the way we started at first, directly right out in front of you. Take a note of that nail bed, wrinkles in your thumb, maybe the colors on your nails, the shape of your thumb. Okay. And now you're going to go ahead and twist back out, same direction. And I want you to go as far as you can go. Okay. Keep your feet nailed to the floor. Really twist to see if you can go any farther. Okay. When you get to that spot, you can't hold it. Go ahead and come back to the starting spot. All right. And take another couple deep breaths. And we're going to visualize one more time. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Really feel that relax in your stomach and your core. Okay, keep your eyes closed. Now you're going to imagine that thumb out in front of you, wrinkles on your thumb, color of your nail, shape of that finger, shape of your hand out in front. And you're going to visualize yourself turning even farther this time out to the right. And you're going to, or your left, depending on which hand you use, and really see yourself stretching past that point that you hit the last time with your eyes open. See yourself getting to that mark without your feet coming off the ground and holding it there. When you're ready, exhale, take a deep breath, come back to that starting point, and go ahead and open your eyes. And we're going to do it one more time. Okay, so you're going to open your eyes, going to put your thumb out in front, take notice of that nail bed, your thumb, wrinkles in your finger, color of your nail. And this last time, you're going to go ahead and twist out. And I want you to really try to reach for that mark that you imagined in your head. On that mark on that wall, go ahead and twist and really mark out. Okay? And really, really reach for that spot. Excellent. Now I want you to come back to your starting spot. Okay? Take another deep breath and you can go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to ask for a volunteer. Anybody want to turn on their microphone and tell me about their experience? Volunteers get kudos.
So the first time I turned, I ended where like the beginning of my window is, and then my goal for the second one was to get to the middle of the window, and I did, and my end goal was to get to the whole other side of the window, and then I got all the way there. So,
Why do you think why do you think that happened?
um, maybe because I was like trying harder to get there, maybe. But I felt like every time I was like uncomfortable where I was, and then I still ended up getting farther than I did before.
Yeah. Thank you, Delaney, for contributing. So why do we do this exercise, right? This is just an example of what we're going to be doing as a group, and visualizing us going farther than our own expectations, right? So the first time, no one goes as far as they think they can the first time, right? They just kind of, I stretch out and reach and I get there, right? But then when we get to the next time and we start to understand how our brain actually works and we visualize ourselves doing better, what happens? Whoop, we go past, right? And if the more you visualize and see yourself, telling your brain that I can do better, the better you can do it. So it's a really good example of just a very basic activity in which you can tell your brain that I can actually do better than that. I can actually go farther because you can see it inside your brain can see the reality of that. And that's going to be really important for this process in breaking through that belief work, that belief that I can do better, that this is not who I am. I am a better version of this. Okay. So part of that is, and today's meeting is really just about understanding how our brain actually works. Okay. So when we don't understand how our brain works, we think the problem is us, right? So, oh, like I'm not smart enough. I'm not working hard enough. Other people have it easier, right? Gas and brake. It's like, I can do it. No, I can't. I can do it. Now I can't. And most of us blame me. I blame me. I'm not good enough. I don't have the ability to do that, right? And we're all built at different levels of the spectrum. Some of us have our high confidence, but we all have our limitations on where we think we can go. And part of this process is us understanding what our brain is trying to do to us. And it's natural. It's part of our human survival work, right? And so a big part of this is going to be how we train our brain to work for us. And that'll be our next meeting that we'll talk about, and we'll get into that. But today I'm just going to dig in a little bit and give you some ideas as to why this is happening, so that when you come across these obstacles and you start to hear your brain tell you you can't do it, that you understand why. Okay. So this is actually all we're going to do today is talk about how your brain actually works. Okay. So the human brain, we are monkeys, right? We are descendants from animals that had to do everything they could to survive. Hunters and gatherers, watch out for predatory lions and wolves and things like that. All we did was care about safety and survival. That is ingrained in our DNA. It's safety and survival. That's it, right? That is the root of our existence as human beings, right? So the best way to look at it is the best way for us to survive today is for today to look a lot like yesterday, right? Because we're here today, and the human brain at a deep intrinsic level, all it cares about is survival. So you made it from yesterday. So your brain tells you, hey, we need today to look like yesterday because I'm still here and I'm still safe, right? And so you're probably you're going to ask yourself the question, then why the hell am I busting my ass in the gym? Because I sure as hell don't want to look like I did yesterday. I want to be better, right? Like those of you that played all weekend, right? Your goal, probably somewhere you're telling yourself, like, I want to be better than I was yesterday, right? So you need to understand how to break through that mental barrier of how do I get myself to better than I was yesterday? Because your brain deep down inside is telling you, no, we want to look like yesterday. And those of you that were in my first meeting, we talked about this motivation triad, right? These are three things that your brain deep down inside are working to hit, right? And they want to avoid any kind of pain. They want to conserve your energy, and they want to increase your pleasure, right? That's the root of what your brain is working for. And that's all about survival. And that's deep, deep inside your natural creation, right? So you might tell yourself like, no, I want to be better and I'm okay with running some stairs and whatever. But if you're doing that, you're ahead of the game, because deep down inside, your brain wants to hit these things. It doesn't want to push yourself past the point of suffering. It doesn't want to suffer, right? Okay. So safety is about your perception. It's about what you believe safety is. Okay. Our brain is not good at determining real danger from fake danger. There's a chemical in your brain that is released when you're under danger. It's called cortisol. And cortisol is the fight or flight drug, right? So like when you get scared, you slam on the brakes, right? Cortisol fires off and it tells you that, danger, I'm going to get hurt, right? So some things these are examples of things that your brain starts to feel. You can feel that cortisol, that stress, that rush of like, right? That your brain is telling you is real danger when it's not really fake. It's fake danger, right? It's traffic. Someone doesn't like you. You got a bad grade, didn't get a job promotion. You're losing in the game, having a hard conversation with somebody, boyfriend, girlfriend, some, fight at school, right? And then getting told no, right? We've all been told no. We probably get told no more than yes from our parents, right? And there's that intrinsic feeling of like, no, this is not the way I want to feel. That's your root brain power trying to find for survival and trying to get you back to your motivation triad, trying to get you to this place right back here. Okay. And our job in this growth that we're going through is to try to work through understanding why my brain is telling me what it's telling me and how to get to the next step of that. Right. So that's what we're all hunting for, right? Is the success and getting through those setbacks, that fake danger, right? So that we can actually have the success that we want to have, right? Unfortunately, because of that safety, a big part of your brain doesn't want you to accomplish your goals, right? Why? Because they want you to go back to being safe. To reach your goals, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to be unsafe at times. You're going to have to avoid that motivation triad. Because in order to get there, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. Okay. So again, in order for us to reach our goals, we're going to have to understand that deep down inside, my brain is telling me this, but I'm going to need to be outside this triad in order for me to get to where I need to go. Okay. We talked about the elephant and the rider in our meeting before. There's a couple new bodies in here, so I'm going to go ahead and go back through it. Okay. So this is how the brain works, and there's a really good analogy about the rider and the elephant. If you look, I sent out a YouTube version of this. If you weren't on the chat yet and you want the YouTube video, little cartoon about it, it's kind of a fun way to look at it. It looks like this. Okay, your rider, that's your conscious level of your brain. That's you and your goals and you telling me, this is where I want to go, right? And it's very rational. It makes sense. I want to make more money. I want to live a great life. I want to get a great job. I want to be famous. I want to be a first team all leaguer, right? Your elephant, this is your subconscious. And your subconscious is the one that's trying to get you back to that motivational triad. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you in your comfort zone. And it's all kind of based in emotion, right? And your reticular activating system or your critical factor, these are the things that fight one another to keep you from reaching your goals, right? They fight between your rational and your emotional self. Okay, your emotional self wants to be safe. Okay, so your writer, it understands verbal language. It gets what you're trying to tell yourself, what you're writing down as goals. It's logical. It makes sense. I want to get better. I want to be an all leaguer. I want to have a great life, right? But unfortunately, it does defer to our subconscious too often. Like we just go back to like, I want to be comfortable. I want today to feel like yesterday. Okay. But your conscious part is your thinking part of your brain. It's what you lay in bed staring at the ceiling thinking about before bed, right? It's your non-automatic behavior and it's slower. You have to really work at it. Your subconscious, the big fat elephant that your rider's trying to move it along the path, right? It understands visuals and emotions and stories. It gets all of the stuff that tells you like, oh, that's scary. And that's, it believes all that stuff. It's not logical and it resists change. Why? Because it wants to go back to the triad, right? It doesn't understand verbal language well. So you're telling your big fat elephant, like, go that way. Like, we want to be successful, go that way. And it doesn't really get that. It's subconscious part just pulling you back. It's that root, like deep part of your human genetics. Okay. And it's an automatic behavior. Think about things in your life that you do that you know are not good for you, but you just automatically do it all the time, right? Your phone, like another scoop of ice cream, sleeping an hour late, going up, staying up later. Those are all automatic behaviors that your elephant is telling you to do. Okay. And we're going to work towards that rider starting to bust that elephant's behind, right? And your subconscious, your elephant, it contains all these self-images of yourself, right? These personal beliefs, these perceived BS truths about yourself, about who you're supposed to be. Okay. And who you really are. Not who you want to be, but who you really are. It tells you like, yeah, you're not that. You're not good enough to do that. You're not strong enough to do that. I want to be like yesterday. Okay. So your emotional elephant, right? For us to get through your emotional elephant, you're going to have to believe that you can do it. You're going to have to believe in it to get the work done. And then when you start to do it, you're going to have to believe that you can continue to do it. So we're right down here at the bottom today. And some of your bottoms is going to look different than other one else's. And we're going to go up and down. And we'll talk about what happens when you hit plateaus and you sink a little bit. But oftentimes the idea of progress, it goes up, it plateaus or it sinks because we get discouraged. Then we break through again and it goes back up again until we reach that goal. And again, we're fighting through this really comfortable stuff. This avoid pain, conserve energy, increase pleasure. All those things are getting in the way of what you believe you really want, what your writer is telling you you want out of your life, okay? So part of our brain that actively works to keep us in the same place, but can also be used to propel us forward is what they call your RAS, or your reticular activating system, or your critical factor, right? And what it does is it's a filter and what you want to believe, right? And what you hear and what you don't want to hear. It filters all that stuff out, right? So we did this before. There's some newbies in the room, so we're going to do it again, right? And I want you to real quick look around your room, right? And count everything in the room that is blue, right? I know it says close your eyes, but it doesn't matter. Count everything in your room that is blue, right? All right. Now in the chat, tell me how many blue, without looking around again, tell me how many blue things you saw. Okay, cool. Let's try it again. This time you're going to look around your room and you're going to look for everything that is green. Okay, look for everything that is green. You can look around, look for everything that is green. Okay, got it? Okay, now in the chat, I want you to write down how many things in your room, without looking around again, that you saw were red. Not green, red. So what happened there, right? It's your reticular activating system censoring out the things that you're telling it, right? So you were looking for green things. You were telling yourself, look for green. So what happens when we get in these situations, we start telling ourselves lies and we look for the things about ourselves that make us not reach our goals, right? The only things that really get through, or the things that get through this filter most of the time, okay, is your name, like your name in a loud room, a loud noise, a bang, okay, flirting, people that make us feel good and feel like we're special, okay, and what you tell it to look for. So just now I told you what to look for, so you looked. It got through your system, right? And that's why you didn't see red, because all you were looking for is those blues. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not very good, I can't dribble, I can't shoot, right? What are you going to see? All of the mistakes. You're going to see all the things you're telling your brain to look for, okay? So you told your brain that green is important in the second round, and you missed all the stuff that was maybe more important, like the red stuff. So your brain's going to find opportunities and it's going to miss them if it doesn't believe they are there. So you need to believe that the good stuff is there. I can shoot. I can dribble. I'm a badass defender. I can pass this test, right? That's your critical factor. Okay, so your critical factor, it guards your subconscious, right? It's the gatekeeper in your subconscious moving in the same direction, and it rejects any contradicting information to penetrate your subconscious, okay? Your reticular activating system, same thing, sensory gating, filters all your senses but smell, and it allows sensory input according to the predetermined priority list. So all the things that you want it to hear, that you want your brain to hear, okay, it allows that stuff in, but it doesn't allow the other stuff, right? So I can tell you as your coach, you were good. You were great today. You shot well. You played great D. Your hustle was great. But in your mind, if you're telling yourself, no, man, I was terrible. I was awful. I wasn't good today. None of that information is going to get through. That's your RAS telling you no, nope, nope, nope. Okay. All right. So same idea. I'm bad at math. Pick your favorite, pick your subject. You all got them. You all got your subject at school where you're like, I'm not very good at this, right? You don't have to share that. I don't care. But we all have that, right? So your brain believes it's being better at math is dangerous, right? Deep down inside, your brain is like, you know what? I'm safe here today. So I'm bad at math. I don't want to get better at math. That's uncomfortable. That looks weird. Now I got to take more math classes. Now people got to think I'm smart, right? It wants to maintain that reality where you're bad at math, right? It's safe. The same idea goes with shooting, left-handed layups. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Your inside self, your filter is not letting that belief work through. It takes work, and that's what we're going to do. Okay. So your job is to gather information to reinforce the belief that you are bad at math, right? That's what it tries to get you to do. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to gather information that allows you to believe that you're actually good at math. Okay. So back to this system right here. This is a good visual of how it all is put together. Your writer, your conscious, your rational. That's you wanting to go where you want to go. It makes sense, right? It makes sense to your conscious brain. I want to be a good basketball player. I want to be rich. I want a great job. Okay. The elephant, your subconscious. Nope. I want to be safe. I want to avoid pain. I don't want to deal with all the hard stuff that I got to do to get to where I need to go. So we're going to work on that belief to start. You're here today. You've already achieved that. You're going to believe to work. So when you see the lists on the calendar that say, hey, there's workouts today, there's weight room options, right? Your belief enough to get out there and do the work, and not to just do it once, to show up every single time you have that option, or to go out and do more. And if you do that, we're going to climb this little ladder and we're going to get to the goals that you set for yourself. And that's different, right? That stuff, those filters, they started. You're lucky because you're getting this information at an early age. This is really hard at my age because I've spent all this time building up this filter system for me to try to tell me who I am and who I'm not. So when I went through this system the last 3 months, it was hard, man. I was fighting like, no, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. This is who I am. And I'm feeling so much different about who I am because I'm working on it every day. And that was a commitment I made to the girls that were in the program last year that are coming back, and to try to help you guys get there where you need to go. I'm doing the work to try to get you there, right? Because my filter, I feel it. I felt it at the end of that season. I was conscious of this critical factor and what it was doing to me as a coach and as a leader of all of you, right? So your brain likes this belief to be real, right? It doesn't believe math complements you. So deep down inside, you keep telling yourself, I'm just not good at this. Like it's not good for my own self-image of who I think I really am. Even if it's not in our best interest, even if it's, we know somewhere in our conscious self that it's not good for me, but it's still doing that. And it's going to find all the evidence that it can find to tell you that you're not good at it, right? It's going to find everything that happens in your daily process to tell you that you're not good at that. You can't do it. You can't make it. Right. And so for this process for us is just to be able to get first to believe and know that that's what's going on. And then we're going to teach you some tools to actually work through these so that we can get better at understanding my filter, what it's doing to me, and how it's keeping me from getting to where I want to go. Right. Because again, it feels really good to be right all the time. It feels really good deep down inside to believe, I told you I can't. I mean, how many times have you heard your teammates? I told you I can't shoot. I told you I have no left hand. I told you I couldn't guard her, right? It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And it happens to me, right? It happens to everybody, right? So it really works to make sure things are true, right? And we're going to work on that. We're going to work on being better there. And this is how every single one of you works, regardless of where you're telling yourself right now. Trust me, this is real. This happens for everybody, okay? The brain doesn't want us to be successful. It wants us to be safe, right? And we're all at different levels here. And I could run down the roster and I could tell you I could get a visual idea of where people are in this, right? But everybody has this somewhere intrinsically in their own personal existence and whatever that might be, okay? And we have to teach it that success is safe, okay? Now, we did this 7-day challenge as a group, but because you've gone through this process, the group that's here now, we're going to start over and you're going to do it again. And with the idea of knowing what your subconscious elephant is telling you. And you're going to have to fight and believe that you can make it and that it's your subconscious elephant and your critical factor telling you, go back to doing that, go back to being on my phone. So pick a challenge like, go back, pick a challenge like I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna go to bed by 11. I'm not gonna stay up late. I'm not gonna drink energy drinks this week. Okay, pick something for you that you do on a regular basis that you're gonna have to believe in. You're gonna have to believe in and you're gonna have to work at it. Don't pick something that you do anyway, right? Don't pick that. Pick something that's hard for you. Okay, write it down in your little journal. Okay, I know some of you I haven't seen yet to give you your journal. Write down that challenge so you can see it, so it's visual. Make it challenging. Make it challenging. Make it something that you have to work on. All right. So while you're writing that down, just a reminder, survival is our number one motivation, right? It's our triad. Pleasure, okay, safety. Brain doesn't want success, it wants your safety. Elephant in the rider, your RAS, your critical factor, keeping us consistent in our beliefs about ourselves. And now our 7-day challenge, right? So how do we simplify this and make it easier, right? That's our next step. Okay, that's what we're going to do next week. All right. So over this next 7 days, okay, we're going to work on fighting that belief. Okay. Real quick before you go, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you one little writing assignment. I'm going to give you 3 minutes and you're going to write in your journal. Okay. You're going to write in your journal for 3 minutes. And I want you to just tell yourself, we're going to write about what you really want. What do you really want? Okay. It could be in life. It could be in basketball out of this program. And you're going to write about what you really want. And when you run into an obstacle or you come to a stop, keep your pen moving. And instead of stopping and thinking about it, start with a new sentence that says what I really mean is, and keep going. Okay. So I'm going to set my alarm for 3 minutes and then I'll come back to you in 3 minutes. Okay. Here we go. What I really mean is, about 30 seconds. Okay. As you wrap up and finish your last sentence, I want you to take about 30 seconds to go back through it and underline or circle any words that stand out to you. Anything that stands out in terms of jumps off the page in terms of adjectives or defines kind of where your gut was telling you this was what this was about, what you really want. And I want you in the chat to just type out 2 of them. I'm sure you own paper though, Anelli, and a pencil. Do the exercise on your own somewhere. Find a notepad. I'll give you a journal when I see you. These are great. Time and success, proud, inspire. Come on, I want to see everybody contribute. Couple words. What stood out? It's important. Come on now. I want to see everybody. I only see three of you. Cool. So I see one of you wrote, Kayla, you wrote time and success, right? What do you mean by time? Can you turn on your microphone and tell me what do you mean by time?
I mean by time, like putting time into what I want.
So making enough time?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So a little secret with that is what I've been taught through this program is like sometimes you feel like you have so much to do and you have like this, you don't have enough time, right? Like there's all these things on your list, and I'll give you some more tips as we go through this program. But part of that first belief work I want you to think about when it comes to your time is I want you to tell yourself, I have just enough time to get done what I want to get done today. Right? You're going to tell yourself that you have the time to get done everything that you want to get done for that day. And we'll talk about the 6Ds and how to prioritize your time later on, but start telling yourself you do have enough time to get what you want to get done today, because we all know we do. It's about prioritizing the things that are most important to you and just making the time to do them. But that starts with believing you can do it. Right? That's your reticular activating system telling you, I don't have time. I want to keep it the way it is yesterday. The safe thing is not to push through the discomfort of making more time. Right? Okay, so that's part of that belief. Okay. I want to thank you guys for being here. All right. Part of what's going to come next, I'm going to send you via text a visualization. Okay. It's going to take about, I don't know, 5 minutes. And when you receive it, I want you to find a quiet place away from everybody else where you can put in your headphones and follow along. All you got to do is listen to me and open yourself up to seeing it and visualizing it. Do me a favor, do not share it with others. This is for you and only you. And we'll go from there. All right. If you do want to ever meet with me in private, because I can go deeper on some of these things and some of the work we do here with you, because it would be easier to actually have a back and forth and for me to dig deeper on some of the challenges you're having, I'm willing to do that. You just need to reach out to me so we can make a time. Looking at like 15 to 30-minute windows at most. We can do it in person after practice, however you want to go about it. I like this environment better than face-to-face. I think it's a little easier for you and me. And eventually I'll make a calendar where you can schedule a time and I'll just meet with you. Okay. But I look forward to seeing some of you guys this week. Thank you for your time. Don't forget how powerful your mind is. All right. And I'll see some of you in the gym this week. If I don't, I will see you in the Zoom next Sunday. All right. Have a killer day, you guys. See you later.